So I just got through finishing watching Coming to America Part 2 for the second time, and I enjoyed it. It was funny, and this is my review. Now, plenty of people, a lot of folks wanted the exact same movie that you got some 30 years ago, which I thought was just impossible, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. And that's the best part about this movie is that it moves on. Now, due to nostalgia purposes, you have at least 80% of the original cast reprising their roles. And I'm going to give you a couple of spoilers, not a lot, to make this brief. You can see right here the people in the barbershop, they're back in the movie. And they're still the same people. I mean, the same type jokes. Nothing has changed with the nostalgia. So if you enjoyed this movie some odd 30 years ago, you will enjoy this. Now, where people probably have a problem with this movie at is that they wanted it to be more funnier than the original, which probably never happens. How many times have you seen a sequel better than the original? Not too many. I know I haven't. But in this case, the story continues on. Like, Prince Akeem is the king now. And there's only one way he becomes king, and you have to see the movie because I don't want to mess it up for you. But he's the king, and he realizes that he has a son. And the way that he realizes he has a son is kind of, I don't want to say goofy, but it's kind of like, oh, that's how it happened. So, okay, they could have did something that was a little bit more, oh, wow. But, the way that he has a son is kind of goofy. But you expect a lot of goofiness in this movie because this is 2021, where you have so many spoofs and a lot of remakes of a lot of originals, and they turn to spoofs. So Eddie Murphy kind of spoofed his own movie in a sense, because it has like this wacky comedic sense to it, like they're almost breaking down a fourth wall for us, and at the same time it stays nostalgic, and that's what keeps this movie funny. But let me tell you, the cameos in this movie are amazing. I mean, I couldn't predict the cameos, and I won't ruin those for anyone. The cameos in this movie is worth the price of admission by itself because it catches you completely off guard. And this story is a pretty good story because if you're going some 30 years from the original, this is like the only way they probably could have went with this. Now, was the movie made for money? Of course. If it would have been made 20 years ago, it would have been a better sequel because you would have had a younger Eddie Murphy. So I think he did the best that he could with the timing of this film. And of course, it was made for money. He decided to do it 30 years later because, their funds, somebody's funds had to get a little low, and it was like, oh, yeah, we can make some bank off of this. And Amazon Prime decided to pay them out. So they got paid off rip from Amazon Prime for this film. And I think it went to certain selected theaters. So, yeah, it was a come up on the behalf of Eddie Murphy and his production, of course, and the stars. Everybody got paid. But this lineup of stars that's in this movie, man, that's what makes this movie. I was somewhat happy with the ending. I know there probably would be a third because there's a big, there's another story here to this. Now, stay tuned for the end credits and you would see more. And I mean surprisingly more. John Legend sings a song that is so nostalgic in this movie, and he slays it. He kills it. Like, John Legend is a great singer, and him singing, I'm not going to tell you what song, this iconic Coming to America song just gives you chills. But I would give Coming to America, a 3.5 out of 5. You know, it's a very funny movie. And if you enjoyed the first, you will enjoy this. Now, I'm not going to go on a limb and say it was better than the first because, like I said, most originals can't be duplicated, but you will be impressed by the 4K HDR that they put in this movie, that you see the digital effects of Africa, the digital effects that they put on our younger Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, and the way that they put a lot of these effects in. Yeah, Rick Ross House is in this movie. Yeah, that's actually the rapper's Rick Ross House that they're filming a lot of the African scenes in the big mansion. I mean, it looks great. So you will be satisfied. And I'm waiting for a third movie. Like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe.